Hi, this is Kat with Beadaholique, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make a fringe necklace using Miyuki round seed beads and dagger beads. Now, as you can see, we have a plethora of Miyuki round seed beads here for you to choose from. Beautiful colors, everything from gold and silver. We have some beautiful pinks and greens and blues. But today, because I'm using the Czech glass dagger beads, I'm using these little fairy wings. These are a beautiful etched little dagger bead, and they have one hole drilled on the side. I wanted to pull out a couple of colors from these beads that could really bring it together. So you can kind of see a little example of what we're going to be making right here. So for today, I'm going to be using the semi-matte black seed beads. I also have the silver-lined gold AB, and then I also have the matte metallic patina iris. So those are my sort of trio of colors that I'm going to use to pull out these beautiful dagger bead colors. So the other components that I'm going to be using is I'm going to be using this Nunn Design open frame hoop, which has two little holes on the side, and we're going to use that to connect it to a necklace. I also need two 5mm 20 gauge jump rings. I have a finished chain of 18 inches here, and we're just going to cut that in the center and add it to make a beautiful necklace at the end. And then I have some NYMO size D thread, and this is the beautiful gold color because as you can see, I want it to kind of disappear on that gold ring. I'm going to be using a size 12 beading needle. And then for tools, you're just going to need a pair of scissors or snips. And then I have a pair of flush cutters, a pair of bent nose chain pliers, and a pair of chain pliers. So those are the tools that we're going to need. We have all of our beads set and ready to go. So let's go ahead and dive into the technique of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by getting about maybe a wingspan or so, about 5 feet, I'd say, of my NYMO. And let me just go ahead and trim that off. And we're going to start right in with this brick stitch. So what we're going to do with this one is we're just going to kind of work our way all the way around that frame so that you can see how it just sort of builds on it. All right, so I'm just threading my needle there. And there we go. All right, so I'm going to move to the end without my needle on it and take it, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of thread it through. Now this is an open hoop, so it's a little bit different, so we want to make sure our knot doesn't slide off there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tie an overhand knot, and I want it to sit up close to that edge, but not too close just yet. I want to tie another one just to give it nice, there we go. And now I'm going to just give it a nice little tug, and then I'm going to scoot it up towards the top there. All right, so what you're going to see is that we're going to have that be a little bit loose, so we're just going to kind of scooch it as we go. So this is a really quick intro to circular brick stitch, but if you haven't done it before, we have a full video showing you how to do it around a form that'll walk you through a little bit slower, but I'm going to move just a little bit quicker today, just so that we can really get into creating that fringe. So I'm going to use the silver lined gold AB beads, so I'm going to pick up 2 on my needle and slide them down. And what we're looking for is we want them to kind of sit right next to each other there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my needle and sort of go through my hoop there. And I want to keep those beads right on top. So what I'm looking for is I'm looking for them to kind of sit just on top, just like that. So now, keeping them up there, I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to go back through that second bead right there at the top. And you'll notice that it'll create a nice little sort of loop. Now you can see that I have to kind of scooch them back to the front there. There we go. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down through that first bead and I'm going to go back up through that second bead there, just to give it a little stability in the beginning. All right, so now that we have that all settled and ready to go, we're going to start adding more beads as we go all the way around here. We're going to add a total of 13, so I'll show you how that looks. So we're going to, again, just sort of slide that down, and I like to kind of fold it over just to make sure that my bead is sitting on there nicely. I'll try to get my hand out of the way there. So you want to kind of, see how it's going to sit. So we're going to just sort of put our needle through there and pull through. And now we're going to come up the back with our needle and go up through that right there. And now we don't need to take that extra step to go all the way back. So what I'm going to do is, you can see that I'm kind of just holding that tail just to kind of keep it out of the way there. We're going to tie that off later. But I'll do that one more time for you. So taking our seed bead, sliding it down, kind of putting it towards the front, putting my needle through that little hoop there. And this is why you want to keep that seed bead on top. Come on, there we go. Play nice. And then we're going to go up through the back. All right, so I've added 4 beads. We're going to add a total of 13 to get down to about here, and then we're going to start adding our fringe. So I'm going to do that really quickly off camera, and then I'll be right back to show you how we're going to start adding on that fringe. All right, so I am just adding my last bead, my 13th bead here, and now I'm coming out the top. All right. So what I want to point out to you is that sometimes it might be, depending on your beads, it might not be 13, it might be 12 or 14. So all you want to do is make sure that you kind of align the edge with that top loop there so that you kind of get, you know, a third of the way around, because we want to center our fringe right there in the center there. So yeah, so mine is 13. Depending on your seed beads, it might be a little bit different. So just use that as a guide, because we're going to kind of have our nice fringe nice and centered there. All right, so 13 beads. Now we're ready to add the fringe. So we're coming out the top there. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna graduate our fringe so that we get a nice little sort of chevron that's happening there. So first, we're gonna pick up 5 of our green beads here. 3, 4, and 5. And then we're gonna pick up 1 gold and 3 black, 1 gold, and 5 more. Let me get those out of the way. There we go. 5 more of our green beads. 4 and 5. All right, let me just double check that. There we go. And we're going to slide that down. And now we're going to pick up 4, 2, 3, and 4. Slide those down. And now we're going to add one of our little dagger beads. We're going to slide that all the way down. All right, so next what we want to do is we want to pick up 3 gold beads, 2 and 3, only 3, and slide that down. And in order to create that little cap there, I'm going to take and I'm going to turn my thread around, and I'm going to go in between the 3rd and 4th on the other side. So I want to take my needle and I'm going to go all the way back up through all these beads here. So I'm just skipping over those first gold beads. And let's see if I can get my needle all the way there. There we go. All right. So now I'm just going to pull that thread all the way through. And if yours gets a little loose here, just kind of wiggle it. You know, you want to make sure it's taut. There we go. All right. So now basically what's happening is that I just went down and did a little fringe, but I'm still going to have that thread bridge. So now we're just going to go ahead and go and pick up another gold bead. Slide that down, and we're just going to keep continuing on with our circular brick stitch. There we go. And again, just kind of scooch everybody nice and close together so that we have a nice little fringe there. So now we're coming out that 14th bead, so we're ready to add another piece of fringe. So for this one, we're going to pick up 7 of our green beads. 3, 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Make sure that's right. There we go. And then 1 gold bead, 3 black, 1 gold, and again, 7 of our green beads. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And just checking that, and we're going to slide that down. And because we want the caps to be the same on both, those aren't going to change, so we're going to pick up 1, 2, 3, and 4. Slide that down. And then while we're here, let's go ahead and pick up that dagger bead and slide that down. All right, and next, picking up 1, 2, and 3 gold beads. And it's the same process to now just go back through. We're going to skip over the first 3 gold beads there. and run our needle all the way up through that other piece of fringe. Now, if you want your fringe longer, you can absolutely add longer lengths of beads. It's entirely up to you. This is where it gets really fun and you can have a lot of fun designing. All right, and again, just want to make sure that I get my thread nice and scooched up there. And we're ready to add our other bead. Now you can see that my thread isn't going around after I've added my fringe. I'm leaving it out and open. So that way I can pick up another bead, string it down. There we go. And because I have the open hoop, I'm just going to kind of bring it around through there to the back and go up through that little seed bead. Now again, here's an opportunity to just judge your tension, see how stiff you want those to lay. There we go. And make sure everyone is nice and happy. All right, so for our center one, we're going to pick up 9 of the green. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Just double check. And then 1 gold, 3 of our black seed beads, 1 gold. And you can do any pattern you like here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Come here. 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And again, picking up 4 of our gold beads, 3 and 4. 1 of our dagger beads, and sliding all that down. Picking up 3 gold beads. And you can see how fast this is starting to go because it's really just the same process there. All right. So this one you might need to take a second run with your needle through because we're getting a little longer. But again, the same thing, just going through that last little gold bead there and running our needle all the way up. I'm going to stop halfway there and continue. All right, and again, just sort of making sure my tension is good. I'm going to pick up another of our gold beads, just 1. Sliding it down, bringing it around, and coming up through the back here. All right, so now you can see that that's the basic pattern there. All I'm going to do is I'm going to do 1 more of 7 and 1 more of 5, and I'll meet you on the other side there to show you how to kind of finish it off and keep going. All right, so now I'm just checking my tension there, and we've finished our fringe. So now we're ready to kind of continue creating our circular brick stitch. So again, I'll just show you this one more time. You just kind of take it and, I'm using the fact that it's an open hoop to go around there. And we're going to pull that. And now we're going to do, so that will be sort of the first of our next 13 that we're going to create there. So we're going to go all the way around until we meet up on this other side here. So I'm going to do that and then I'll show you how to tie it off. All right, so I've just added my last bead up here on the side so you can see that we're almost done. The last thing we need to do is just tie off and weave in our thread. So what you could do is you could create a thread bridge just by going on the outside there, but what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to double back and go through the second to last bead there and create a little thread bridge over the top, making sure to not get everybody tangled up there. Let me hold my tail out of the way. There we go. And now I'm just going to go back up through here and create that. And then I'm going to double back just one more time here. You can kind of see from the top view. But I'm going to try to hit it towards going towards the back of my piece. So what I want to do is I now want to, I've sort of flipped my work around, you can see. So now I'm on the other side here. And this is just to kind of show you like a little front and back because you might see your little knot. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through and I'm going to catch that little thread bridge that is on that second bead. And I'm going to pull it through, but before I'm finished pulling it through, I'm going to take my needle and go back through that loop so that I can form a nice little knot that will sort of sit right beneath there. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up the back of the third bead there and pull that through and go down one more time through the fourth bead on the other, coming down this way through the back. All right, so now we're going to take our little snips and we're going to try to get as tight as we can in there, kind of pulling that thread out of the way. There we go. And we've tied that side off. So I'm going to basically just go back and do the exact same thing on this other side, and then I'll show you how we finish it off with a finished chain necklace. All right, so now that we've finished our bead weaving here, I'm going to add a finished chain necklace using just a couple of jump rings, but I just wanted to bring over my initial piece here to show you that you could actually turn these into really beautiful statement earrings as well by sort of adding either wire, or you could add a little wire hook there, an earring hook. So just to kind of show you the nice scale of these could be very beautiful statement earrings as well. But what we're going to do is we're going to take this finished chain necklace, and basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to line it up and find the center point there, and I'm just going to come in with my flush cutters and cut the center so that I kind of create a nice little halfway point there. There we go. And now I'm just going to separate that. All I need to do now is to grab my jump ring here with my chain nose pliers and my bent chain nose pliers, give it a little gentle twist to open it up. I'm going to slide it onto the end of one of the chain sides here, into that last little link. There we go. And slide it on to my piece. Close that up. And just simply repeat on the other side. Nice little gentle twist. And we'll open it just a little bit more. There we go. I find it's easier to slide it onto the chain first because the chain is a little smaller, a little tighter. So we just want to get it on there. And as you can see, I'm struggling just a little bit. Come on. Play nice. There we go. And slide that on. Close it up. All right, so now we have a beautiful finished necklace here, and it was so easy and fun to create, and we have so many different more styles of these Czech glass dagger beads, so choose your favorite dagger beads and coordinate the beautiful colors of Miyuki rounds to create a lovely circular brick stitch fringe necklace. I hope you enjoyed this video. You can get all of these supplies and even more by heading over to Beadaholique.com. And hey, if you're new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button below.